Welcome to a video from thedigital-lifestyle.com. In this video we're going to have a look at the Acer Aspire 5. This device sitting on my desk here. This is a mid-range device, quite good specs on it, various prices depending on the spec. This is the i3 version, there's an i5 version, so between 400 to 580 quid depending on the processor. So what I'm going to do in this video is have a quick look at the specs on it and just have a quick play with it and see what it's like. So before we go into the internal components, let's just have a look at the exterior. It's 15.6 inch screen, so it's quite a large device. It's got this nice plastic textured finish to it, which with kind of a premium feel to it, I would say, especially with the way that the hinges at the back. For the ports here on the side, we've got full-size Ethernet, USB-C, full-size HDMI, USB 3 and a full-size SD card reader. On the other side we've got headphones and two USB 2 ports plus power. So first impressions, nice clear screen, good blacks on it. It's not particularly reflective. Some people like reflective screens, some people don't. This isn't a particularly reflective one. It's not touchscreen or anything like that, but the blacks are very black on it, so it's got good colour reproduction. Let's check the display settings. So running in 1920 by 1080, so it's 1080p, which, okay, some machines you get are into like Quad HD and that kind of thing now, but this is a nice clear sharp screen. It does look very nice, that. So nice looking screen on there. I quite like the finish. It's got a soft plastic finish inside, not too much of a bezel, quite a large bezel there, I guess, in there, but you've got the webcam slot up there. Right, what about the, before we look at the interior specs of the exterior, let's look at the keyboard here. Well, first thing you notice, we've got a number pad on here. It's many laptops don't have number pads. The bigger screen ones mean that you can. So this has got a full number pad on there. Right, so we've got some of the other specs on there. We've got 8 gig DDR RAM on there. Having Windows 10 with 8 gig of RAM really makes a difference over, say, a 4 or a 2 gig RAM machine. It really feels a lot snappier when you're opening apps like Microsoft Edge. You see it fires up straight away. There's no waiting. Windows really does respond well to the extra RAM, so really good to see that on there. It makes it nice and snappy on there. So it's only got the i3 processor on here, but because it's got a 256 gig SSD on there, no spinning drive, it's an SSD drive. It really does feel nice and snappy when you're using it, and it does feel like a fast machine because every time you open something it just loads, and that's really down to, a lot of it is down to that RAM and the SSD. You've no paging on a slow spinning hard drive, so that's a definitely good advantage on a device like this. It's snappy, it's fast, and that's really good to see. Right, let's try playing some the Digital Lifestyle Show, our podcast, the weekly podcast that we do, and digital-lifestyle.com presents the Digital Lifestyle Show, show 619, Thursday, 28th of September 2017. Good stereo reproduction on there. That's up at full volume, so it's not that loud, but nice and clear. Sound is coming from here, from the front. For you this week, full gang here, Richard. And nice clear stereo separation through these Edge speakers on here. Like I said, it's not particularly loud, but it is nice and clear. There's not a huge amount of bass. It's not a gaming machine or anything like that, but it is nice, and combined with the screen, I think it'll be pretty good for watching movies on there as well. Let's give you some other specs as well. It weighs 2.2 kilograms, so it's not the lightest machine, but it's not really an ultrabook. It's a 15.6 inch screen device, so it's not it's not ultra light, but it doesn't feel particularly heavy, and it's balanced on one hand. It's not too thin either. It's not chunky, but it's not particularly ultrabook thin. But it is slim enough to fit in your bag without too much issue. But that's the compromise you're going to have to make if you're going for a device with a big screen like 15-inch screen. If you can go with something smaller like a Surface, or Acer do some smaller devices as well. There's a whole range of devices if you want to go small. You want a 15.6 inch screen, this is a good compromise. One thing I didn't say before as well is how nice and bright the screen is. It does support multiple brightness levels, but that's on full at the moment, and I can bring this down. I'll leave it down actually while I'm recording the video, but it's actually got a good range of brightness, and as you can probably tell from the way the camera is adjusting the brightness there, it is a very bright screen. And I think let's bring this down for a bit. That's a really nice feature of this, with the nice and bright screen on there. Battery life, Acer say about 8 hours. I've been running this with the full brightness on, as you've seen, about 5 hours when I've been doing my testing. They often find that these settle down the more you use the device, so maybe it's probably the end result will be closer to the values that Acer say. This is a nice performance device if you've got the i5. The i3 one is probably a bit less, probably slightly underpowered, but 400 quid, something like that. It's good value. You've got some things on there that many of its competitors don't have, like the USB-C down here on the side, the full-size HDMI port and the full-size SD card, and the network port for that matter. If you go on the lighter, smaller devices, you tend to lose those. So I think if that's important to you, then this is definitely worth looking at. Also, like I said at the beginning, really good colour reproduction on the screen, not particularly glossy. It would probably be quite good as using it outdoors because of that. So I do like the screen keyboard combination. Yeah, there is a bit of travel on the keyboard, but nothing that's too much of a problem. It really depends on your needs. If you want a 50-inch device, then you should definitely check out this. There are different processor options available, so make sure that you check out the one that you think you're going to need. This is not particularly a high-end gaming machine. Casual games, no problem. Video editing, i3 probably okay, i5 probably better. Play Minecraft on there, no problem at all. Podcast editing, no problem. Maybe a bit of Lightroom for your photos. It would do all these things. It'd certainly be great for Office, Excel, Word, no problem at all. And of course it's got the full Windows 10 on here. Let me just check though which version of Windows 10 is installed on here. I think it's just the standard edition of Windows 10, not the professional edition. Yes it is, it's just the standard edition of Windows 10. So if you're going to join a domain, you're going to need the Pro version, and you can do an in-place upgrade for that one if that's something that you need. So overall, 8 GB of RAM, 256 SSD make this a snappy machine, fast at switching apps, websites, that kind of thing, browsing with Microsoft Edge here, we found with Chrome as well. A good all-round performer, and I'm going to spend a bit more time with it. If you go on the digitallifestyle.com, I'll write a review with a bit more after I've spent a bit more time with it. But thanks for watching this video. You can see more from Acer and other manufacturers on our YouTube channel and on the digitallifestyle.com. Oh, you can follow me on Twitter @ISDixon.